All right, Josh, let's talk about this. So, true story. Conversation I had with a female today. She told me something that I really felt it's so typical, and we talked about what she did, what she said her man did. She understood where she screwed up. Now, they both were screwing up. They both screwed up, but at the same time. And they were both screwing up. But pretty much, this is a very typical thing. So, basically what happened was, the woman says to me that her and her guy was basically, he cheated on her, and she kept, she forgave him. She said he cheated on her like twice. She said she really think it was 3, but she didn't catch him with one of the situations. But she really feel like he cheated. But 2 times she know for sure. He apologized to her, told her he would never do it again, and whatever. But basically, he told her there's nobody else for him. He cried. Wow. Said that that he literally cried, and was in tears, saying that without her there's no him, and even said that he was saying that he'd rather kill himself than to live without her and all of that, and saying that when he screw up, the women he messed around with, it wasn't even nothing to him. They meant nothing to him. He did what he did out of stupidity and just something he's been used to just doing, is just getting his way. But that's immaturity in him. Now, whether he was being honest with her or he knew how to play on her feelings, this is her words. She went for it. She gave in. Now, basically, what she ended up telling me, though, she said that there was a guy that she was working with, right? And even though they stayed together, he hadn't screwed up again, at least to her understanding. But then, here's the deal. The guy that was at her job, that she worked with, well, in a lot of places, these jobs, they have a company have like a party for the department or something, or whatever type of work it is. They usually a lot of times don't want you to bring like your husband or wife, because these are the type of people that they like to be able to do things that their significant others not supposed to know about. And if they're there, then those things aren't going to happen. And you have a lot of people that want to hook up with coworkers. Well, that first dance might lead to that first kiss, and that first kiss might lead to you having sex and all that kind of stuff. And then people want to play the victim. We wasn't getting along, and we was going through this, and I was stressed. I know I messed up, but you did it to me first, and all that, whatever. So she said that what happened, they had a party at the job, and that this is the time where there wasn't no real issues, but it was like they wasn't really having sex, no quality time, everything was about work. Now, isn't that what y'all always say as women? Y'all want a guy with ambitions and goals and this and that and make X amount of money. Well, you can't do that and be under your ass all the time, right? You got to go out and work. So basically, work was pulling them apart. They wasn't spending any real quality time. But what she said happened was that during that time that things were stale, put it like that, she went to the party that her job gave, and pretty much it's one of those things where after hours and where they unwind and they have a DJ and all that type of stuff, and I don't know the details, if it was at the office or whatever, or if it was somewhere they rented out or whatever, but bottom line, they were to themselves, they were dancing together, they were sitting together, and she said the guy, just the way he was looking at her and how they just mended, and like she just found herself wanting to like get physical with this guy, and he was saying all the right things, and she said it felt like they knew each other, like he was talking about things, like everything he was saying was like describing her man and situation, right? So now here's what happens. So they dance, they kiss, they fondle and touch and all of this, and basically nothing happened, because I guess they didn't have enough privacy to really, so whatever, but he couldn't bring her home, she couldn't bring him home. So the most gonna happen, they're gonna go to a hotel, one of them getting a call from their significant other, then what, right? So this is what she did. And this was dirty as well. So she said that after that, they had a meet and greet social, right? Now, everybody was coming, and this was on a weekend. And this, she said where they work was Monday through Friday. So that weekend, when they had that meet and greet social, they went. Now, they said what they usually do, they would hold it at somebody's house. And they would rotate and switch. They would, or they would, because it was easier than just having it somewhere else, renting the place out. Now, mind you, they have this in their backyard. Now, the same guy that you done swap spit with, he's all grabbing on your ass, and slobbing you down and sucking on your tits. And now they was foreplaying and all that, but they didn't actually, go through with the sex. And you introduced this man to your man. Now, and I've seen this happen so many times. There's a place I used to work at, I used to see this on a regular basis, especially women that used to carpool. Oh, man, and you introducing this man to your husband, and you're telling me that this man is telling you, let me give you a ride and thing every day, I burn up my gas, man, I ask you for nothing. You can't give me a little thing, man, you can't, So he wants some sex because he's giving you a ride. Now, you keep this from your husband, and you hold out, and you're trying to find a way to get to work without this guy, because now he just keeps pressuring you. The guy gets salty and stops taking you. Now you talk all this crap though about how, we Jamaican, man, I have to look out for each other, say, it's hard here, all this and what you didn't have, all this shit you talk, but then here you are trying to, basically put the female in the position that if she don't have sex with you, then you're not going to give her rides anymore. All right, whatever. Another story. But so she says that they met each other. She said the thing that happened that she didn't expect is the two of them had started getting real cool. They started hanging out together. She said a part of her felt like, damn, it's kind of easier access in a way if she felt. But then she said at the same time she felt like, what if this motherfucker just get to the point where what if he tell? Or he just start bugging because like, look, I want you to myself. You have to tell me it's either me or him or whatever. So she said she ain't know how to feel. But she said what happened was she was telling him like, they can't do that no more and whatever. And the guy kept being persistent. And then every now and then there's someone slobbing her, same thing, touching, fondling, and the man is fingering you and all this and slobbing you and you jerking him and all. This is what they're doing. Okay. So now what ends up happening is this. She got word that her man was messing with some female, but it turns out that it was a lie. Right? He was never messing with this particular female. But check this out, right? Regardless, she decides now, the guy that she introduced to her man and her co-worker, so she has sex with him. She goes to, now it's like, now she says she gave him this speech about how what they did was wrong and they shouldn't have been doing it. She's very much attracted to him, and yeah, she's going through things in her relationship, but her relationship with her man shouldn't have anything to do with her, and him doing anything. It's like, it was wrong. But every time she says it's wrong, she ended up getting fingered and foreplaying with this guy, right? Well, now she goes through having sex with this guy. But come to find out that it was all a lie. So now the guy, she said her man got pissed off when he found out. She hid it, she lied, and now all of this. So her man, act like nothing didn't happen. And he, what's up, man? Yo, this and that, let's go do this and that. And he beat the shit out the guy. Like really beat the shit out of him badly. Police got involved in everything, and the guy pressed charges. So now he's about to do time. Well, he's doing time. And all of this shit happened. And my thing was, so wait, even for you to start bringing up whatever your man did in the past, you claim you forgave him, right? And y'all work things out. You hear a rumor, and now for you to call him a no good, lying, cheat, now you gonna go out and you gonna do the same thing and screw another guy based on, check this out, because it gets deeper, based on the fact that what he did in the past, you want to bring it back. And now because you heard that he was messing with a particular female, just to find out that it wasn't true, it was an absolute lie, well, you're going to go give yourself to a guy that was cheating on the woman he was with, right? That made so-called friends with your guy. You screwing around with the guy, foreplanning and all that and kissing the guy, knowing he's stabbing your man in the back. So at the same time, right, it amazes me when I hear women say, I need a man that's going to be here for me. And you talk all the 6 figures and this and that. Okay, you get that. But then at the same time, it's like you're still not happy. So you're going to cheat on a guy you label a cheater with a cheat. I've always, I got common sense and I believe in this. If you will cheat with me, you'll cheat on me. So when she did what she did, right? Now he's in jail. But guess what happened? She got pregnant by the guy. And then it turns into I don't believe in abortion, but I don't know if I should have a baby with him. Well, guess what, man? That dude pretty much didn't want to mess things up with his wife. So when, he stopped working there, all they know is he's no longer there. So now this guy's out here somewhere with his wife, moved on with his life. She pretty much, is walking around with a baby in her belly that belongs to somebody else. I thought this shit was crazy, man, when I heard it, because I said, man, and I looked at it and I'm saying to her, like, how could you do what you said this man did to you? Why not just break it off if that's the case? What's the purpose of you going to screw somebody else? How does that make anything better for you? Not to mention the baby that didn't ask to be here in fairness, right? When you screwed this guy, was you thinking of trying to make a relationship with him, a committed relationship, or was just this get back at your man? And then when you find out it wasn't true, the reality is what you really found out about yourself is you're no different from your man. Because you could have easily said, you know what, I'm not going through this anymore, and just broke up. You know what? Because now, even in that case, you found the truth out and realized, damn, he didn't do it. So now you apologize. And yeah, because he did it in the past, you thought that it was automatically true. Okay, whatever. But you go out and give yourself to a guy that you know was a cheat and was cheating on his wife. So you only care as a woman that your man don't cheat on you. But it's okay that the man that you're cheating with is cheating on his wife. So when I look at it, it's all one big mess. And now what are you going to tell this baby about his daddy? Now, are you going to ever tell him the truth and say, whether it's a boy or girl, are you going to tell the truth and say, well, the truth is, me and your daddy wasn't in love. We wasn't a couple. We had sex. I was cheating on someone else at the time, and he was cheating on his wife at the time. And basically, we had you. He went his separate way. I don't know where he is, what he's doing. I just know he's with his wife. And he obviously wanted to distance himself from me. He blocked me on the phone and everything. And pretty much, she just going to leave it at that because she don't want to make a bigger mess than what she already made. But at least this woman was able to admit her wrong. Because most of the time, all I hear is niggas this, niggas that nigga did this to me. She admitted her wrong. And basically, she just, it was like her talking to me about it. I guess she just wanted to talk to somebody who will listen, but at the same time be able to just give some sound advice on going forward. I've had several conversations with her. I'm not friends with her. We just have mutual respect and we always get along. I'm not trying to give up our identity or nothing like that, whatever. But we always got along and we've had a couple of conversations and shit, talking to me, she feel like she can have a meaningful conversation. Let me tell y'all something. Any female who knows you're in a relationship and her goal is to try to take you from that person, that relationship is not going to work. I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care what you think is going to happen or all your little fantasies, but at some point, you guys are going to hit a brick wall. Any man trying to take a woman away from whatever man she's with, and that's one of the things she said. He was telling her, you deserve better. I would never cheat on you. Meanwhile, says the guy that's cheating on his wife. It's not going to work. Because even, let's just say, if one of you in a relationship and the other isn't, well, the one that's not in a relationship has nothing to lose other than maybe getting caught and getting their brains blown out. But other than that, they have nothing to lose. So you got to hide and sneak and snoop. And what people usually do when you're in a relationship, but you're screwing with them, especially if you work with them, they'll flirt and do things with other coworkers just to piss you off, to try to help you make your mind up more. It's something about the human ego that's connected to stupidity, where you think that you accomplished something because you can say, I took her from him or I took him from her. No, all y'all are is sex buddies. And neither one of y'all are really going to be able to trust the other. One of the things about naive people is for some reason, women think that little hole between their legs or between them cheeks or their mouth or whatever, their feet or whatever, is going to just change like everything about you, where you can't resist them, you can't say no to them. And the same thing, these guys think something in their mouth and what's in between their legs is, and y'all be on some other shit now, yeah, and you bending their ass over, whatever, them letting you peg them and all that, or whatever it is, they think somehow it's like, what happened between you and the one before them won't happen between y'all. It's probably gonna even be worse. Why? Because y'all know each other better than y'all really intended to. Because you wanted to expose and try to make your man look bad. He wanted to try to expose and make his woman look bad. And even if y'all were telling the truth, let's just say, y'all are still cheating with each other behind each other's back. So if he's having a bad relationship with his wife, you're having a bad relationship with your husband, a man, whatever, and then but basically y'all start fucking around, you both know that y'all are both cheats. Where's the trust? The second, I don't care, let me tell you something. I don't care how great things are. The second you get that, hey baby, I'm stuck at work, you're going to get flashbacks to the same lies you told yours and the same lies he told his to be with you, vice versa, and it's going to be like, nah, not this again. Now you're going to find yourself going through a motherfucker phone if you don't have the face lock or finger lock or pin code or whatever. You sneaking through his pockets and going around just looking for something, paranoid. He might be doing the same thing to you. And this is all because what? You complained about a cheat. You settled down with a cheat. Then you cheated on a cheater with another cheater. You're a cheater. Why all the finger pointing? This is why I say most people need to stay single. Because in all honesty, you really don't know a person until you live with them and years go by. Because people, you can say they can change, but a lot of times I don't think it's change. I just think it's things that's already in them, but something happens in life where they just learn to tap into it, and then you get that side of them. So you get the worst end. It's like, honestly, I can remember we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, how you went to school and it was always a female or some females that the dude was just like, damn, she's fine. Yo. Yeah, they used to call them the A crowd back when I was a kid, right? So it's like, if I get that, I'm the man, right? And then you had some dudes where the females is like, same thing. Like they felt like, okay, they try to match up everybody. He's the hottest guy, she's the hottest girl, blah, 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 whatever type of thing. Well, we were saying like how you think about then and you see some of these people now and it's like, what the fuck happened to you? Damn, right? But, things of that nature. So you like, yeah, what you thought was a great thing back then, you couldn't see the future. That's what you would have been stuck with. We laughed at it, right? But bottom line is, that's my point. You get the version of a person, like when you, just say example, you see this chick walking, right? Ladies, you just got to deal with this if you're watching, because I ain't sitting there trying to break down no man's physique or whatever, but you see this chick, and her body's all curvy, she got the flat stomach, she nice and plump in the right places, and you like, damn, man. But then all of a sudden, you get the version of her with the socks pulled up to her knees, her hair is never done, she just walking around passing gas in front of you and looking like Raggedy Ann. But when she's in the public, she wants to look her best. And all this freaky stuff she used to do, how you thinking about the sex is going to be outstanding, we going to be spending so much quality time, having fun. Man, this motherfucker on social media all day long, scrolling up in that, and she disappears so she can go do her little video. She don't want you to be involved. She don't even know. I mean, like, everything that's going on. And basically, you find yourself in the same position. We're not spending any quality time. She's either doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. You know, she doesn't look attractive in the house. And it's not about makeup and wig and weed. No. Keep yourself clean. Keep your skin moisturized. Take care of yourself. Keep your hygiene right. And where's all that sex appeal? Where's all that? You understand what I'm saying? And you don't get that. And you in a relationship and that shit goes sour. All that dirty talking and walking around naked in front of each other all the time. Y'all can't keep your hands off each other and just random sex. I catch you at the stove, bent over barrel. So that shit just comes to an end. It stops. Somehow you see somebody else and start imagining that you're going to be able to relive those moments with that person. And nope, it's not what you're going to get. It's not what you're going to get. And the reality of all of that is people don't learn from their own mistakes, their own bad decisions, and they don't learn from other people's mistakes and bad decisions. And the cycle just continues. Now, one thing I told her, I said, well, you know, whoever you talk to and whatever the nature of the conversation is, that's up to you. I said, but one of the worst things that you can do, I said, and I'm telling you as a man, as a mature man, is jump on the phone with your girlfriends and have a bunch of niggas ain't this, niggas ain't that talk. I said, and I'm gonna tell you why. For one, it's irrelevant and it's gonna get you nowhere. I said, but for the most part, the mindset that you have is just to build the resentment towards men, but yet you're still gonna try to find one. And when you get them, you're probably gonna push them away if you get them, because you are going to think the same thing is gonna happen. And when you have been damaged, you know, there's no reason for you to rush into something or be a part of something where you may become the problem. The fact that you acknowledge that you screwed up as well. Your screw-ups was just as big as his. And even worse. Because now, for you to have a baby in your stomach, and you're going to have a baby with someone, by someone, and again, this child is going to want to know who their father is. And if you find a man, it's not right for you. It's not fair of you to think that this man is supposed to, because you say when you accept the woman or accept the man, you accept the children too. You can, but you don't have to. It's not your kid. And depending on what the temperature is with you and that person is going to determine that, because you might have kids that, like, they don't like that person. They just won't warm up to that person. You might have a situation where, you know, like it could be a variety of things. All right. But bottom line, you might be that type of person. Like, look, if my kid do that, right, you come and tell me, don't yell at him. You know, so all that kind of stuff. And trust me when I tell you, unless you and a female, I don't care what your age is. Okay, if you still got your mojo and you can screw, I don't care what, from young to old, unless you, and I'm talking about man and woman, live in your place together, and only you two, you're going to have problems. If you got the kind of sons and daughters that's calling you every day, not because they miss you, they love you and they want, no. They always need something. There's a problem. I ain't got nowhere to stay. They got to come in. They bring their 4 or 5 kids in y'all 2-bedroom apartment. You know, whatever is always the in-laws. There's a problem. Your girlfriend's calling you 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. Girl, I went out with this guy. This motherfucker, all this. Yo, man, I don't really know dudes that do that. But if a dude, yo, man, I'm going through some shit. No. And you got all these distractions. Case in point. If that man don't put that woman as his first priority, that woman don't put that man as her first priority, and y'all don't have each other's best interests in mind for each other, it's not going to work. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to have a house full of in-laws. You're going to have whatever problems her family's having is going to become your problem, and vice versa. He going through things with his family, it's going to become your problem. And this is not what you signed up for. And you're going to be sitting there stressed out. And this is why I know even as a kid, I used to say this. I used to remember me and my cousins was talking. And we're like, you ever notice, you go to the cookout, uncle this and auntie that or whatever, whoever the host was, whether it was family or somebody from the church or whoever, notice the husband and wife never spend time. The entire time, they hugging and kissing everybody else, shaking hands with everybody over there playing chess or checkers or dominoes or Monopoly, or they over there playing cards or whatever they doing. But notice how you don't see an embrace from the husband or wife, not a kiss, not nothing. And you start realizing that everything, when you have family gatherings or you at church or wherever you was at, you start to see how the husband and wife don't even interact. And I always said, I don't want that for myself. But you don't know how things are going to play out because you can see things one way. In fact, you and that person can have a conversation about it. And y'all can talk about those things and try to prevent that from happening to you guys. But then one of y'all turn around and forget that you're the one that's being told. And hey, the one that's listening to the conversation that, for us to get through this and have a beautiful, successful relationship, we can't base this on money, financial stuff, and material stuff. It got to be, we have to love each other. That's got to be first and foremost. And greed and all this other shit, non-appreciative behaviors and all that, we can't go through that because otherwise we're going to end up just like every other couple. Mad at each other, not getting along, and then what? And let's be real, man. If you still got it in you to want to fuck, and you not getting it from the one that you with, I'm saying, what you think gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? Otherwise, you living a long life of misery, trapped in a relationship with somebody that don't give a fuck about you, go and come as they please. You never know where they are, what time they coming home, if they at work. They just travel, hop on planes, go where they want, whatever, right? I'm saying. Is that what you signed up for? So, yeah. At least for her, there is hope that put it like this. I can't say what it is. Men don't want a woman with children. Women don't want men with children. It's too much of a headache. And most of the time, when a woman has kids and a man has kids, today's women seem to think that a man's supposed to give a fuck about her kids more than his own kids. And that's bullshit. So everything is a compromise. You have to give up something to impress me, make me happier, and it's never a double standard. So the truth of the matter is, let's be real, y'all. Relationships are very fragile. Very, very fragile. But when you get to the point where you're doing things like what this woman was doing, and her man, ex-man now, you really can't point a finger at nobody. And it's not even about that, because the facts are what they are. But at least this was one time where I'd say a woman admitted her wrong. Most shit, any other time, nope, they never admit they're wrong. It's always he did this, he did that. And other women would have done the same thing and said, he made me cheat on him because that motherfucker cheated on me. And how was I supposed to know he didn't really fuck this woman this time? Because in the past, no, nobody made you open your legs. You did it because you wanted to. He didn't make you do anything. You chose to do that. But instead of just saying, you know what, let me break up. Because even if you broke up with him, what gives you the right to talk when you in here fucking another married man? You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, if it's not in you to be like him, those things wouldn't have happened. You would have just broke up with him. And the next man that you date, you only having sex with him and him only. If you basically just is a guy you having sex with, but you're not in a relationship with him, right? A committed relationship. Okay, whatever. But what I'm saying is, most of the time, people try to make it say they're the victims, but they're still doing something where the person you fucking around with is doing to you, is doing to their significant other what you're saying that yours is doing to you, and you're aware of it. So how do you point the finger and act like you're the victim? You're just as guilty. And this is one of the reasons why I say people talk too much. my man this, my man that, my girl that. So in other words, I'm telling you this, why? Because if you do anything and I think that you're doing the same thing, it's possible I'm a cheat. Then, baby, it meant nothing. It meant nothing. Baby, oh, I was lonely. He was talking. He came right. Baby, it meant nothing. So I ain't never in my life had sex that meant nothing. Like you understand? Like, I'm bored. I got nothing better to do. I'm not interested in this motherfucker because I'm faithful. I'm not gonna go over here and screw this woman because I got morals and I stand on dignity and integrity. I ain't gonna do that. I'm honest. You know what? One time ain't gonna kill me. So all of a sudden you get caught, baby. It's nothing. It meant nothing. Yes, it did. I heard what the fuck you was saying before I opened that door. You understand what I'm saying? Just saying. Now, I ain't never walked in on a motherfucker because I'd probably be in jail. Yeah, for sure. Unless the judge saw things my way. But bottom line, you know, I'm just saying, for that to happen, and it meant nothing. It meant, yeah, no, that's because they know they fucked up. And you know what always happens, right? When they know they screwed up, and you won't forgive them for that shit, like, I'm not gonna sit up here and let you hug me and kiss me and lie to me about how sorry you are. What always happens, you know what? I'm human. You act like you're so perfect. But that's what they start trying to resort to because they're not really sorry. They're sorry they got caught. If they didn't get caught, they'd still be doing it. So, yeah, man. But it was a good conversation we had, and she really appreciated it. And, you know, she gave me a big hug and had the tears in her eyes because she's going through a different time in her life now. Because this is real. This is real. That's not anybody else's baby except for the guy that got you pregnant who's moved on with his life. And he doesn't care about her being pregnant or not. And in fact, the thing is, she said that when she told him she was pregnant, he said, you know. She said that, you know, told him what she told him, and she took the test and whatever, and yeah, he said, okay, we'll work it out. We'll figure this out. And basically, next thing she said, she just know in like 2 weeks, he probably didn't say anything ahead of time about a 2 weeks notice, because then, you know, people talk, and then it's like, well, where you going? He didn't want her to know. So he basically just dipped. So, and she never been to his house or nothing. So she didn't know where he lived. And, you know, they can't be giving her his information and stuff like that, but he's out. He's gone. You know, and pretty much it's like, yeah, more than likely that's how it went down. That, you know, he knew his wife was going to eventually find out, and if he tell his wife, I got a baby by somebody else, more than likely she gonna leave him. He already got kids with her. Just look at the situation now. And imagine this little baby right now that's in her stomach has no idea what is going to be introduced when it comes out to this world and get big enough to start wanting to know where her father is. And one of the things that a lot of women do, which is so wrong, is when you have a baby and you and the man ain't together and you lie and tell that baby that the man that you with is that kid's father. And people, if he buying her Pampers and all that and feeding her, no, it's still not her father. No, I don't give a shit. You can call him a surrogate dad. He's not her father. He did not impregnate that woman. He is not the biological father. I'm not talking about him being taking care of responsibilities that he don't have to, but he does, like he is her father. It still doesn't change the fact. It still does not change the fact. I could bleach my skin until I look purely white. It doesn't change my ethnicity. It's as simple as that. So that nobody cares about all of that technical shit. What you trying to say is he's the only father, been there, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, that's a nasty feeling. And it should be that, damn, I got a baby by a motherfucker who's already married, have kids, dipped off and left my stupid ass, and the guy that I was with, I cheated with this motherfucker. Broke up with my man just to find out he never did that. And yeah, he beat the shit out of him, man. And my fault. He beat the shit out of him, and basically it's when his ass, I don't know how long she said he was in the hospital, but afterwards when she explained to him that she was pregnant, it was 2 weeks after that. So yeah, so just think of all of that. So once she heard that, okay, I'm gonna fix him. yeah, now you gonna go out and screw somebody. So if you calling him a no good cheating dog, well, that's what you are. And to say, well, he did it to me. That's like I said, man. It's like, just say for example, you know, and this always hit different with the fellas and make them go, I see your point. It's like this, all right? If your motherfucking wife decided to have a threesome, a bisexual threesome, right? And her and this other gay dude is in there sucking off another guy, you gonna go have a bisexual threesome too? Because she did it, to say I'm getting back at her? Yeah, I don't swing like that. Okay then, you see my point is, when you try to do something just because it was done to you, and that's, nah, just break it off, walk away. That way he can go out and do whatever he wants, whoever, you're no longer in the picture. And all that begging and please, no, don't accept it. Let him go on about his business, because he's going to do the same thing. He's not going to straighten up. That's the whole thing. But in the situation where, you know, he was falsely accused of something, he didn't do it. And I say that with the comparison is because, think about it, man. Because somebody did something that behind your back, yeah, you could go out and say, all right, cool, now I'm going to go out. But what's going to happen after that? Because screwing somebody else isn't going to help your relationship at all. And you both going to have that on your conscience, and you're never going to really truly forgive each other. And every time y'all get into it, y'all going to keep bringing up, you cheated on me, you cheated on me, you did. And eventually y'all going to break up. It really. So it amazes me in these relationships, man, how when these things happen, the one trying to be the innocent one got just as many skeletons in their closet as the one they pointing the finger at. It never adds up to me. You know, but people want to, you know, play victim. Nah, man. I know people used to run around bragging about, I screwed him, I screwed her, I did. And then all of a sudden you hear that this person got HIV or something. Now you wish you never told nobody that, right? Because now you got to, nah, I ain't got no damn HIV. That's when people start saying, nah, you got to, because he got it. If he got it, you got it. You got to have it because you screwed her. If she got it, you got it. Talking, and you know, y'all got to stop with y'all so-called besties, y'all day ones, y'all best friends, because all they do is put poison in your brain, help you to, you know, want to mess your relationships up. And it's usually the ones who don't even have they're not even in a relationship, or they in a messed up relationship. Let's not play stupid, man. Y'all know anybody that would cheat with you is not somebody you want to settle down with. And for somebody to tell you, baby, I only doing this with you because I love you, I wouldn't do this for nobody. Yeah, okay, you believe that shit if you want to. Anybody that will cheat, like I said, with you will cheat on you. And can you really be shocked and surprised when they do it? Like, what is it about you that they wouldn't cheat on you with? You know, when a person is in that vulnerable position, it's not you taking advantage of them. It's them putting themselves in that situation to let you know, hey, if you want it, take it. But as soon as you and that person start having issues, because people have this fantasy stuff in their head, like when they meet somebody new, nothing wrong is ever going to happen. You're never going to have a situation where you guys don't see eye to eye. And so when things start to happen, they're like, here we go again. Here we go again, right? And before you know it, you're being cheated on. Look, y'all, it is what it is. But I thought this was, you know, just another interesting conversation. And I talk about things that people really deal with in real life. I talk about real situations that I know of, like this, you know, woman bringing this to my attention, man. And it's really, it's sad because these things happen so often. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like a lot of times, man, it's like people just compete with each other and for the stupidest things. And not that she is doing that to compete with somebody. I mean, I'm just saying, but this type of stuff happens all the time. All of the time. And so, again, if you going to call men, especially black women calling men a bunch of no good niggas, then, like, why do you think cheating on your man that you call a no good nigga is okay to cheat with another no good nigga? Wait, how does that solve anything for you? And again, you got to find out something to tell the baby, because I don't, you know, unless you want to be honest and tell the truth. Now you got to also teach that baby to not do what you did and why it was wrong. That's just a nasty feeling, man. You know, now if her ex wasn't in jail right now, and just think about it, he found out and beat the shit out of that dude. Think about it. You introduced your coworker who you was slobbing down and being fingered and fondled and all that, and you introduced this man. He was in your home with your man, was hanging out and became friends with them, and these things were going on. Which is why even before, like when I made videos saying you gotta have boundaries. Like, I don't care how close we are. Don't bring your black ass to my fucking house and I'm not home. I come home and you sitting up in there with my fucking wife eating her cooking and shit. Nah, motherfucker. No, hell no. This is why you got to pay attention to who's in your circle, man, and look at their mannerisms, because I don't come to nobody's house uninvited. But at the same time, regardless, even like if you say, yo, you know what, come to the crib about 4 o'clock or whatever, this and that, right? And I get to your crib at 4 o'clock and you ain't there, I'm like, hey, do me a favor. I got to step off for a minute. Tell him to call me when he get. You know what? It's not about temptation. I ain't worried. I know who I am. I'm not weak. I'm all about the principle. And a lot of times I can even tell when there's trouble in paradise. Because, again, like I said, you come to somebody's house, man. I'm sitting up in the house with your wife. There's something with women in this generation, especially too, right now, man. Because you sitting up in the house with somebody's woman. She's feeding you. This ain't, all right, oh, it's just hospitality. Feeding you, she walking around with booty shorts on and the tits hanging all out and just, you know what I'm saying? And like, no. And then, start trying to tell you things about the husband or how, this and that. And I don't need to know all of that. Y'all got to wake up. Anyways, hopefully things work out for her. And, whether it's going to be a boy or girl, don't know. But hopefully things work out for them. Hopefully she raised this kid right. Hopefully she understand what she did. Well, she know what she did wrong, but she understand like what she did can't be repeated. You find yourself in a situation where somebody's cheating, just leave. Just leave. Why go out and cheat yourself and then stick around and say, I stick around because I love you? Imagine her telling him that and she walk around with a baby and stuff. What was she going to tell him? Well, it's not your baby, but we're going to raise it. He'd have left too. But he's in jail now because he beat this dude's ass. But that was some scumbag shit as well. I mean, that really, that's just some nasty shit to do. You sitting here hugged up with your husband, but knowing what you've been doing with this guy. And a lot of times, because I've seen this happen, where when that shit happens, that woman who's in a relationship won't be like really affectionate with the guy that she's with in front of that other guy because she don't want to make him jealous, but she's not saying that to the husband. So like, where you going? Come here. Like, what you acting all shy for? Like, yeah, start paying attention to them signs, fellas, because that's what that shit means. That's pretty much where that goes. She fucking around with your friend and she don't want him to feel some type of way, so she try to not be affectionate to you in front of him. And that's where a lot of times where these dudes just get to the point where they're like, man, I can't do this no more. And they come out and tell what happened. Now, mind you, he met him through her. So, as close as they were, it's not like they were childhood buddies. So my thing was, it would be a lot easier for him to let him know, look, man, me and her have been dating and this and that or whatever. You got to pick and choose. Because guess what's going to happen? They going to break up. Now, either she's going to be pissed because you did that, or she's going to be like, okay, well, now you made it where it's over. So I guess we can settle down now. But again, can you trust the person that was cheating with you? You know what I'm saying? No, you can't. And you're stupid if you try. And all that crying and playing the victim, grow up. That's all I got for y'all now. Catch y'all in the next video.